The theme for this one is bully versus victim. So I want to you guys to welcome to the stage our next battlers with a big round of applause. They go by the name of Quill versus Bobby Rex.
Yes, bro, what you saying? Ha! Don't be daft. I remember you. We went to the same school. Mr. Jones's class. You've been talking shit about me, haven't you?
No.
Well, I've been told you have.
Honestly, Bobby, I haven't.
Honestly, Bobby, I haven't. Did I tell you could speak?
No.
Well, then close your trap. Don't make me have to... I'm only joking, bro. Relax. But yo, what's that on your shirt there? Such a slow reaction. No wonder back at school you was always put on the bench for football and it was me that was chosen as captain. I swear you were such a geek back then. Do you remember you had those dopey glasses? I took him off him a couple of times to throw them backwards. I honestly thought someone was going to catch him, but they never did. Every single time, they broke and shattered. Psh, glass everywhere, and he stood there squinty-eyed. In fact, I even think he cried. A classroom full of kids laughing at him, and this little softie didn't show the slightest little hint of pride. Just stood there crying. What is wrong with you, boy? Swing a right. It's time to bring the fight. They used to do the exact same thing to me, but now me and them, we think alike. We're synchronized. We're moving packs hunting smaller prey. And we know which ones to pick off because it's in your eyes. At first, we just call them names. We call you fat, call you short, and we call you gay. If you're poor, you're getting called out for your parents' poor mistakes. And if you're rich, you're getting extorted during break. If you're fat, we're going to laugh at your enormous waist. And if you're gay, well, nobody knows because we've already made sure that you're afraid. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Do you remember I used to wait for you after school at the park you used to cut through? Half of us would film it on the phone, the other half would cuss you. I bet you try your hardest just to avoid us on your way home. And now all these years later, we meet again. What you saying, bro?
He's not wrong. I used to wait for the teachers to finish so I had someone I can talk to. A lot of the times he'd be at the park I used to walk through. I knew I was safe if I can get back to the estate. There was a couple routes. I had to plan the best way. Sometimes I will escape. Not really. He's still in my mind while I'm thinking about the next day or online sometimes where the threat was made. Same thing happened with Daniel's son. I remember thinking I need to find a Mr. Miyagi. Start learning all the kicks from karate. Nah, they told me violence ain't the answer. But in this case, I got a right to be wrong. Joss Stone, they said I didn't want to fight him. They know nothing. Jon Snow, but he had his company to defend him. John Stones, what was I going to do, hit and run? John Jones? No. Make things worse. Make him angry. He already hated us nerds. I mean, I was small. He was getting taller by the day. He kept kicking my ball away. His boys in my way, all in my face. Of course, they would say names, calling me gay, short, four eyes to form. They saw I was afraid. It would get worse through the course of the day. An atheist that was forced to pray. Because the insults never managed to stop. My clothes from the charity shop, my choice in music, or the way that I looked, my voice. The fact that I used to read books, or the clothes that I got from the market. I used to wear the cheapest pair of glasses. Thanks to him, a week was the longest they lasted. Why didn't you tell a teacher when you got to the classes? Yeah, that's what I need, to be labelled the kid that grasses. That's really going to stop me from getting my ass kicked.
Listen, I'd like to think I'm not really that mean and heartless. He was just an easy target for me to deflect attention away from the fact that my clothes are also gotten on the cheap from markets. I didn't want people taking the mick out of me because some days me and my sister didn't eat and we would starve if my mum never made enough money that week from going out to clean apartments. So I never had a choice. I had to be the hardest because if I wasn't or didn't seem it, then it was me to start with. So even if I didn't mean it, I was mean regardless. He was harmless. I was bigger than him. He barely even reached my armpit. So when I'm hitting him, it was hurting him. And this one time I beat him hard as I could and I left him with a bleeding nose and all the people froze. I didn't care. I gave him a wedgie, pushed him into the locker and walked off like it was a bleeding joke. And I'd like to think that back then I didn't really even know that I was putting him through hell just so I could steal the show. But I probably did, because afterwards it always left me feeling low, because I seen the fear in his eyes, and I felt that same fear when I've wished that people would just leave me alone, like, please stop punching me face in. So I know there's nothing I can say right now to give it any sort of justification, but just know that I'm not walking around unaware of the pain I've caused. I'm not walking around without a care, like the blame is yours. You're not the first person that I've hurt, believe me. I have strayed off course more times than I care to remember. In my life, it never rains, it pours. And I was just trying to make my life easier. I never meant to be the reason that you hated yours. And I swear, I am sorry to everybody that I ever hurt. I never meant to make trouble. I will never again in my life tell anybody I'm going to make them.
Taste knuckles, try to run, fell on my lace unbuckled, face down in a puddle. Every day was a struggle, face down in a puddle. That was one occasion, every day was a struggle. Sometimes I go home with a bleeding nose. Used to shove me in my locker. What do you think, that's just something that you see on TV shows? He even gave me a wedgie. Sounds funny, yeah. Then I guess you're unaware how much it hurts when 3 people are pulling up your underwear. I was younger, scared, wanting my mother there. How can I tell her? It's embarrassing. Spider-Man never had it as bad in comparison. I watched that movie like 90 times, thinking me and him are like for like. He got bullied by people that are twice the size. I want to be just like him and fight them guys. I never was a superhero. I just got covered in spider bites. These movies sell me dreams. Low self-esteem. I remember I fell to my knees. I need someone to help me, please. It would mean the world to me. I remember I fell to my knees. I need someone to help me, please. It would mean the world to me. Thank you.
If you're having problems and you feel alone, that you're not alone. So reach out and speak to somebody, whether it's a friend or it's somebody external. It's always good to speak to someone because they can open up different avenues for you to go down that you don't even imagine.
Because it's a big step just to say to somebody, here's how I'm feeling, here's what I'm going. It is a big step and it's a daunting step because, you know, you bred throughout your life to be, you must be an alpha male or you must be this, you must be that. And really, you mustn't be anything other than what you are, what you want to be, what you're trying to be. Just be it, you know what I mean? It's just a case sometimes of speaking. There's more help out there than I think people realise at times. You know, I've literally been through, everybody was calling me names and I was pressured, and then my way out of that essentially, and unfortunately, was at times bullying other people, but you know, it's a cycle, and literally how I got out of that cycle was speaking to people around me, whether they're, you know, older and a bit more mature, and they, you know, they're calling it out and going, look, do you know what you're doing to him is just because this has been happening to you.